I'd like to talk right quickly. Well, probably not right quickly because I never do anything right quickly here on YouTube, but I'd like to talk about unemployment benefits and that specifically government, unemployment payments that we hear talk about. You hear the monthly numbers about unemployment. And, I've always been an opponent of these types of government programs. And you can even find videos here of me on YouTube saying that the unemployment benefits provided by the government actually increase unemployment. And, people have often told me that, well, you wouldn't hold some of the, harsh positions that you hold or so staunchly hold these positions if you had some of these things happen in your own life. And, that's totally false. I have had a lot of the things that I talk about here on YouTube happen to me in my own life. I have seen family members addicted to drugs. I have seen family members relying on support from, government disability programs. I have seen, the problems in my own son's education, through the public education system. I've seen these things. But, recently, a person that's very close to me in life has lost their job and has gone on government unemployment benefits. And it's very sad because this person has worked for 35 years for one company, and all of a sudden one day he gets called into the office and is let go with no hope really of coming back. And so people might ask, how could you say that someone like that shouldn't receive an unemployment benefit? They paid into that system, they deserve that money, and here they are in a hard time. And of course, now that we're in the situation that we're in, I've never advocated cutting people off totally from these government benefits. I've advocated a transition, but a definite transition to a better system. But at any rate, if government, let's say that government unemployment did not exist at all. Okay, I'm not advocating that a person like this who's worked their entire life not receive any help or be let out onto the street or be forced to go get a job making $12 an hour when they were earning $24 an hour, something that won't, feed, that won't maintain the lifestyle that they've become accustomed to. And nobody is guaranteed a certain level of lifestyle. But in other words, what I'm saying is, I'm not advocating that someone be, lose their home and everything else because, there's no government unemployment benefits available, so you could go out there and not be unemployed, but you'd be getting $12 an hour, or it might take you a long time to find a job that would compensate you, and then, at the level that you were previously used to, and then here you would be not able to make your house payment, you'd lose it. And no, that's not what I'm advocating. But the thing is, people have to realize the difference between government unemployment benefits and private unemployment benefits. The only thing that unemployment is unemployment insurance. Just like you can take out disability if you were to become disabled, not be able to work, you have a disability insurance that would kick in and pay portions of your salary for the time that you're disabled. And you pay a monthly premium. Just like if something were to happen to your car and you couldn't drive your car and you have insurance, you pay a monthly premium for that to cover that risk. And if that risk is ever develops in your life, you claim on your insurance and they help you through the tough time with a car. The difference is that in the private market, this could happen with unemployment. You carry unemployment insurance to cover you in the event that you are unemployed. It could be very good unemployment insurance, very shoddy unemployment insurance. You could have super maxed out coverage where you'd get 100% of all your pay and all your benefits if you were to lose your job, and you'd pay high monthly premiums for that type of coverage. You could have medium coverage where you'd get 70% of your income but no benefits for the time that you were laid off. And then if you were actually laid off, you'd file a claim and you'd receive those payments from your insurance company. But what the private insurance sector would do is it would discourage bad behavior. If you chronically wreck your car, you will become uninsurable. Nobody will give you that insurance because they're realizing that you are too high of a risk. You're just going to get the insurance, wreck your car, and then let the insurance company pay for you to have a car again. And the private market is not going to continue to put themselves at that risk. They're going to drive your premiums so high that it's going to either force you to change your behavior or force you out of the market. And the same thing would happen with unemployment. People that are all the time becoming chronically employed and unemployed, in and out of employment, they would not be able to continue to receive these payments all the time under a private system. If car insurance goes up when you have a car wreck, unemployment insurance would go up when you file unemployment too many times. Nobody denies legitimate changes in the market, but a reasonably responsible person should be able to maintain a job for 3, 4, 5, 10 years at a time. And avoiding, these major economic downturns come along, once every 7, 10 years, 20 years, longer? The last major thing we had like this was, in 01, September 11th. Back before that, you have to go back to, the 84. So these things should not be happening all the time where you just can't keep a job. And what unemployment insurance would do in the private market is it would use economic incentives to change people's behaviors. It would use high insurance premiums to dissuade people from going in and out of employment. Just as insurance may be more expensive on a red Mustang, okay, because that's a riskier car. People do things in a red Mustang they wouldn't do. They probably don't do in a Ford Taurus. Okay? Unemployment insurance in the private sector would also use economic incentives to move people to more stable employment. The truth of the matter is, someone that's been hanging on 30 years at GM is an older worker, is headed towards retirement, and the company will see them as a bigger liability because they're making more, they're going to be paid retirement soon, they're more injury prone, perhaps, and they are at bigger risk of being laid off. What unemployment insurance would do would encourage those people through financial incentives based on their unemployment insurance premiums to find other lines of work sooner. This idea that you stay on one job for 40 years and then just retire is not economically sound. You are creating a bigger risk to yourself. And so it would direct people into more less risky jobs for their situation. It would direct people into more education, into better work performance, and all these types of things. Now, someone like the person that I'm talking about, they may have stayed in that job. If they didn't have any other skills, they may have stayed in that job for 30 years. But when it did happen, they would be taken care of. Just like if you don't wreck your car for 30 years. Your insurance premiums are going to be pretty low. If you're not unemployed, for 35 years running, you're going to have low insurance rates, and the company's going to have no problem taking care of you when you do find yourself in that unfortunate situation.